Women's League to fill the gap between college and professional soccer. A league that's committed to advancing women's soccer, focusing on the development of the female soccer player during the summer months, elevating the competition to help each player reach that next level, providing high-level soccer for collegiate players, aspiring and former professionals, and international stars. Operating with professional standards because players and fans deserve an exceptional experience. Uniting players that inspire and are inspired. We are passionately growing the women's game. The future is bright for United Women's Soccer. It's time. Be part of the movement.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to UWS Weekly. I'm your host, Jonathan Ward, the Director of Marketing and Media for UWS, and we are excited today to have another opportunity to talk to some of our community members. This morning, if you were tuned in, we were with Calgary Foothills coach Lee Tucker, and now we're going to talk a little bit about FC Buffalo. For those of you not familiar with FC Buffalo, it has been a club that's been with us for the last few years that has been rising every year, getting better, improving, finding ways to get to that moment. And as we've said before in the past, still has some unfinished business to do as it relates to a team going forward in the East Conference this summer of soccer in UWS. But to talk more about that, we have Carissima Cutrona, who is one of their players. And so I would like to introduce you to Carissima. Carissima, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, let's talk a little soccer first and kind of your experience. You played for FC Buffalo in the inaugural year, and then last year you actually had a little different bit of a pathway as you were able to go to Norway. Tell us a little bit about that experience playing for Buffalo, going to Norway, similarities and differences between the two programs.
Yeah, so I think, obviously playing college soccer and then afterwards I had an injury. So that kind of offset my track to, what I really wanted to do, which was go and play overseas. So luckily, once FC Buffalo created a team, that really gave me the opportunity to get back into it, get back to playing, at a higher level and really prepare me for the opportunity that I got over in Norway. Once I got there, it was an awesome experience. Obviously, just the culture, the people, there's tons of differences. And when you're brand new to somewhere and you have to kind of learn on the fly and, go to a country that, doesn't speak English as their first language, even things like that. It can be hard to, kind of get used to that lifestyle. But overall, I had a really great experience. My team was awesome. The girls were really welcoming. My coaching staff was really great. Everyone really tried to make me feel right at home. So overall, it was a really positive experience for me.
Talking about that experience, though, what were some of the similarities you saw, maybe some of the differences between playing semi-professional here in the States as opposed to playing professional in Norway?
Yeah, I think some of the similarities obviously are the level of play, honestly. I think the UWS prepared me really well for the level of play over in Norway. It's interesting when you play overseas because a lot of the girls, they don't play college soccer over there. So they go right from high school or their clubs to playing professionally, where I think over here, we kind of have this nice bridge between college soccer and playing professionally, which is the United Women's Soccer League. So I think that the level of play was similar. I think once you get overseas, it becomes a little bit more physical, I will say. That's something that I really noticed playing over in Norway. A lot of the girls were really tall, strong. They used their bodies. They loved going, in the air to goal and things like that, at least over in Norway.
You went to a team in Medkilla that was very much in what we talk about for that pro rel. You're in a relegation battle. What was it like to actually have that kind of fight to stay promoted, and what was the end result?
Yeah, it's interesting, because it's so much different than what we're used to here. Like I said, between college soccer or even, in the semi-professional level, we don't do the pro rel system. So when you go over there, they were fighting for their lives. Obviously the community over there is so much behind the team, and it means everything to the community. I was in Harstad, Norway, which was a really small town all the way up north, like almost in the Arctic Circle. So the Medkilla team meant everything to them. So it was a lot of pressure each game, because you knew just how much it meant to not just the team, but the club and the community in general. So, the stakes were high in terms of that. And I will say my team struggled a little bit. We had a lot of younger girls on our team. So it was a team that didn't have as much experience when you looked at the other teams that were in our division. It was a lot of girls who were kind of coming out of high school, just starting to get their professional careers underway. That team that year, we did end up being relegated to the division below, but I still follow them. And it seems like they're doing well. But I think for me, just to have that experience of just so much on the line every single game, now coming back and being able to transfer that to, my games here. Of course, we're not in a relegation battle, but I think it's, very telling, and it really has shown me, how to fight every single game, because in other parts of the world, a lot is on the line.
Buffalo has passionate fans for just about every sport you can think of, whether it's the Sabres or it's the Bills. What is it like to go across? Did the fan base in Buffalo prepare you for the fan base in Norway?
I think they did, honestly. Obviously, with all of our sports teams, just like you said, we are just diehard fans of anyone we can root for, really, that represents our community here. And FC Buffalo, we have our Situation Room, which is our fan section. They turn out every single game. They're loud and proud, and they're singing and playing instruments the whole game. So they really did, I think, prepare me for my team in Norway. It was, we had a similar fan section. And over in Norway, that almost made me feel at home, was, the preparation that our Situation Room gave to me, and what kind of transferred over in Norway.
You've been working with Playmaker training for a little bit, and now you've kind of ventured off into the coaching world. How has being a player and a trainer helped you as a coach? And as a coach, how is it helping you be a better player for FC Buffalo?
Yeah, I think being a coach, like you mentioned, I'm at Playmaker Training. We're a supplemental training facility in Buffalo. And then I also am the varsity coach at Williamsville South for our girls team. And it's interesting, when I first started to get into coaching, I feel like I had a lot to learn. Obviously, I still do. But now being able to coach, but then also go to FC Buffalo during the summer months and play, it really has just, I think, opened my eyes. I see things almost from more of a coaching perspective now. And, obviously I'm not one of the younger girls on the team, probably not the fastest or the strongest, but I think for me, what's really helped is having that coaching background now. I see the game and I can read the game. In a different way than when I was just a player. And I think it's also helped me to connect with, all of the girls on our team. FC Buffalo is made up of a really broad range of players, from, girls just coming out of high school all the way up to, some players who are even a little bit older than I am. So I think it's just helped me to build positive relationships with them, overall as a team, and to be a leader and things like that. I think playing for FC Buffalo still also helps me in the coaching realm, because I still get that fire when I'm playing, and I want to win, and I want to do well and be successful. And I think now, from a coaching perspective, I still have that fire, but it's just, I want my players to do well, and I want my players to succeed, but I'm able to kind of transfer that passion to them now.
Being a captain, you often have to make sure everybody's being held accountable on the pitch. You've got a new teammate in Linda Olmark. Tell us a little bit about the U19 national team member, and what does she bring to the table for you? Does she light another fire for you to perform at a higher level, knowing that it's a great opportunity to work with her or to get her to the next level?
Linda is a fantastic player. Honestly, she's so much fun to watch. I think sometimes I'm like, whoa, like how'd she just pull that off? Or how'd she just do this? And, she plays with such a passion and a fire under her that absolutely, it makes me want to be a better player. I want to make sure, when she gives me the ball, I can get it back to her and keep her going forward. Obviously, she has, the national team experience. She's headed off to UNC in a little bit. So I think, just being able to play with a player of her caliber has been really cool. And it's also been, I think special to have her a part of our team so far because, of where she's been. And I think she's making the players around her right now better too. So we're happy to have her a part of FC Buffalo.
A little bit of a change in the coaching staff, obviously, 2 new assistants who have come on board. Give us some insight into what they're bringing to the table. Obviously, with Trevor and Angela, there's a difference from what has been in the past. What kind of strategy, scheme, set pieces are they bringing to the team this year?
Yeah, I think Angela and Trevor both bring, a unique part to our team. They're both very highly regarded coaches in our area. So they just bring something different, and from set pieces to our attack or defending, I think they're able to bring their insight. Obviously, the past 3 seasons, we've had our coach, Gabe Wilson, and she was also awesome. And I think Trevor and Angela have done kind of a seamless transition so far and assisting Nikki. And I think, the 3 coaches as a whole have been a really solid coaching staff for us so far in preparing us for our first game this Friday.
This Friday, home opener, yes, I believe, right?
It's
it's away.
Yeah, it's technically away, but we're at Buff State, so it's like down the road.
Hop, skip, and a jump. I when I saw Buffalo, I'm like, oh, they're at home, but no, you're not. Tell us a little bit about what's the week look like. I know you guys have training this evening, but how are you preparing for that game Friday night?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we have training tonight. I think we're going to be doing a lot of just playing, scrimmaging, really trying to solidify our connections and relationships with each other on the field. We also have training Thursday, which obviously will be a little bit of a slower pace in preparation for the game Friday, but that will just be more solidifying like our set pieces, our formation, our attack and defending and things like that. And just getting on the same page. I think our opening game for anybody, for any team, it can be just kind of a feeling out process, making sure that we all know what we should be doing on the field, how we should be connecting and playing together. So this week is really just all about that preparation so that we can put out a good product on Friday.
What should fans be expecting from this product that's being put out on Friday?
It's going to be a fun one. I'll just say that. We have obviously some really, really great, solid returning players, but we also have added a lot of dynamic newcomers into the mix. And it seems like so far the transition has been seamless. Our new players have grasped our concepts. I've been really impressed with the younger girls and the newcomers, like I said. So I think it's going to be a really fast-paced, high-power attack. And I'm honestly really excited myself to see how it goes.
What do you foresee as an end result? What creates obviously best case scenario, win a national championship, but being more modest, what's a good record? What's a good goal for this year for FC Buffalo?
Yeah, I think looking at our past 3 seasons, we've obviously had very successful seasons leading up to playoffs. I think for us, we want to solidify how our team looks when we get to playoffs, hopefully. So that really is the goal, not just to make it to playoffs, but then to be able to win games during those weekends. This is a unique league where there's girls going off to college, there's new girls joining the mix. And I know all teams, kind of have that going on. So I think for us, it's going to be obviously winning each game that we go into in the week, but then also really being able to stand strong when we get to, mid-July. And obviously we do have our sights set on the national championship weekend. So we are hoping to be there.
Hoping that you guys are there as well. I know we saw you guys last in Ludlow, Massachusetts, when we had the national championship closer to home. And then this past year, you guys missed out at the end there. But I think for you guys, as we went back and we talked about year 1 when you had unfinished business, you guys ran the table, got to playoffs, then we finally got there. I think we're seeing the same thing. So maybe it's an every other year thing for FC Buffalo to get back to the national championship.
Yes, we are hoping. So, like I said, we have our sights set on that. And I think we have a really solid, strong group this year who collectively we want to get there together. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Chris, I know you have training this evening and you're getting ready. What do people need to know? How can people make sure they get to a home game or even to Friday night's away game?
Yes, fcbuffalo.org will give them all the information for those who are local to Buffalo. We are playing back at All High Stadium this year. That's our home. We're back after a couple years hiatus, so that'll be a lot of fun. We hope to see them there.
What's the return look like to go back to All High? How is that going to play a difference for FC Buffalo?
All High has just such a unique vibe to it. It's, a true like soccer stadium, and it has a lot of history to it. Obviously, the past couple of years they've been renovating the turf, so it has a newer, more modern vibe. But it really kind of brings our fans together. Obviously, the fan section, everyone's close together. They have tunnels that we walk out before the game. We're close to the fan section, so we really feel connected to them. And I think as a whole, they feel connected to us too on the field. So that's really exciting for us. Like I said, it has a lot of history. The men's side has played there for many, many years. So we're looking forward to, getting back home and hopefully, bringing a championship home.
Awesome. Well, I know everybody's looking forward to it in Buffalo. It's been a while since there's been a championship in Buffalo. Why not have the women's team bring the first one, right?
Yes, I like that.
Awesome. Well, hey, Chris, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to get out to the pitch for some training. Have a great evening and good luck Friday night at Buff State.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good rest of the evening.
You too. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you so much to everybody who joined us for this conversation with FC Buffalo, and hopefully more to come in the next couple of weeks as we get you involved in the Summer of Soccer 2024 for United Women's Soccer. Until next time, cheers, everyone.